Welcome to the Jet Set Hers podcast. I'm Jenny.
And I'm Jaimie. We discuss travel, adventure, and everyday life. Listen with us and let's go somewhere.
Hi.
Yo! What's up, Jenny?
What's up? Welcome back. What is this, episode
8.
Oh my gosh. That's crazy.
Getting up there. We're getting old now.
We really are, though. That's sad.
So I have a surprise today.
What's our surprise?
My guest is my most favorite cousin.
Favorite cousin.
I guess I probably shouldn't have said that, but yeah, it's true. My most favorite cousin, Katrina. Yay! Katrina's here.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming.
We're so excited.
We are so excited. Katrina, what are you drinking?
We're drinking this canned wine that will get you lit.
Yeah. We're actually drinking the same thing today. It's this canned wine. It caught my eye because of the can. It's got a bunch of different fruits on it. It's sangria. It's 13.9%, and we're drinking it. I have a little vodka in mine.
I had brunch before this, so I got a little head start.
So exactly, no vodka needed in hers. So yeah, this wine sangria in the can is pretty good. So, what are you drinking?
Well, first of all, I'm really jealous about brunch because I haven't had brunch in a good minute. That sounds so good. But I am drinking, it's from New Belgium Brewery, which is probably the largest brewery we have here. It's huge, and you can find that beer all over the U.S. But it's their Voodoo Ranger American Haze. So it's like their hazy version of their Voodoo Ranger, but it's also light. It's only 5%. So I think it's like a good day drinking IPA. So
for sure. Not going to get you too buzzed, but still a tasteful beer. I like it.
Exactly.
I'll look for that in the store.
And it's like got the cute little skeleton guy with some American stuff on.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
American Haze. Cool.
Merca. So what are we talking about today?
I think we are going to talk to Katrina about Hawaii today.
My favorite trip ever.
Yeah, so why don't you start by just telling us about yourself, baby cakes.
Okay, so my name's Katrina. I'm Jaimie's older cousin, but one of many. We come from a really big family. Type of weird experience because I listen to podcasts constantly and I've never really thought I would ever be on one, but I love talking about traveling. I love traveling. We're going to talk about Hawaii today, which was the best trip ever. I tell everybody about it and how everybody needs to go there. If I ever retire, I hope it's in Hawaii one day, but yeah, I'm really excited to be here. I love Jaimie. I love her free spirit and
yay. That was awesome. Thanks, cuz. Love you too.
Love him.
Yeah, so Hawaii actually, it really was one of probably the top most best vacations because it was a really significant birthday for both of us. Katrina was turning 30 and I was turning 28. We're only 2 years apart. So we like to always take trips for our birthday. So it felt like a really big trip for us to go on.
And Hawaii is one of those places that is at least growing up how we grew up, it felt like more of a dream place. It didn't really feel like something that was necessarily something I was going to get to do, or at least for turning 30, being single, for me, that was a big goal that I set for myself. And so getting to go there and experience it was not just a fun experience. It was really an accomplishment for me. So
Definitely. I probably would have to agree with that because you're right. It never felt like it would be something that would be ever achievable. So it was a really special trip. I'm glad we got to go.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yes, I know you both grew up in Michigan. So how was that in your childhood? Did you spend a lot of time together?
Yeah, so we grew up in Michigan. We both kind of grew up in the suburbs or some version of that, but we did spend a lot of time. Jaimie's dad had a boat, so our summers consisted of her mom and dad, my mom, me and my brother, out on the boat, tubing, parents getting hammered, us driving the boat. We were just rebellious, fun little kids, and it was a very fun time to be alive. There were no worries, and we had family that had places up north, so our travel growing up was mostly centered in Michigan, and it was always family related and with each other or with other members of our family. So we didn't really we weren't the types of family that took like exotic vacations or went to resorts or something, but we definitely explored our surroundings and, got to appreciate what we had here in Michigan, because there's a lot to love here. So
yeah, for sure. Just being kids and all the
just
stuff
being
that we have
full
done,
on
for sure.
kids, like
swimming off the boat on sandbars, and Katrina's right. We never, as a kid, we never went to any crazy exotic vacations. The most that we would do like a road trip to Ohio, to Cedar Point, or with Uncle John, like a road trip down to Florida to, go do something and come back. So everything, you're right, has always been centered around family. And we were very close growing up. We were always doing stuff. And my dad had that boat, so he wanted everybody to always come and always be on it with him. And this is what we're doing. And
Uncle Ron and Aunt Jan had the darkest tan on the beach. Like, that was a given.
For sure.
They'd bake out in the sun for 4 to 5 hours daily to ensure that.
My dad literally wore no sunblock his entire life, and he put baby oil.
Just straight oil.
Baby oil, rubbed it all over. And he would be a lobster, and we'd make fun of him for like 2 days, and he was fine with it until... Here we go. It's like the 5th or 6th day, and this dude is so brown.
See, Jaimie, I told you I was going to turn brown.
Told you, Jaimie.
That was Uncle Ron.
You just couldn't even recognize him. You knew it was him because of his mustache, but that's the only thing. Yet the dude was 10 shades darker. Like, are you Italian? What are you, my guy? Same thing with my mom. Like, her tan lines.
It definitely rubbed off on us. We were kind of the same way, like 10-year-old kids out there with like Tropicana sun oil. Like, most parents now are like putting SPF 100 on their kids. Like, we were literally like 8 years old, 10 years old out there with like oil on. We're like, pass the oil. We're going to lay out.
And they didn't give us the baby oil. We actually had tanning oil. So I guess we had the luxury of a step up to give us a base tan.
Yeah.
But it was Sugar Island.
But we still live that beach life. It's just kind of like, it's been a part of who we were since we were little kids. Like, I love the water. That's Definitely. When I feel the happiest, is when I'm on the water, near water, smell water, see it. Like, that's just who we are.
Definitely.
You actually described my childhood, going on the boat every weekend. Just parents getting drinking all day.
Yeah, seriously.
You're trying to keep an eye on them, like, somebody's going to drive us home. Shit. All right, Mom.
AKA the kids can just run wild. There's no supervision.
Yeah.
Well, it's like half the time it'd be one of us driving the boat home.
Literally.
Or my mom, because my mom was never really like a drinker like that.
But sometimes my mom and your mom would have like a weekend where most of the time they were composed, and then all of a sudden one weekend, every parent's blacked out. It's like, okay, cool. This feels safe.
There is those couple weekends that it's like, well, we're driving the boat home. Katrina was the oldest, so looks like she's doing it.
I'm in charge here.
She was only 10.
I was the original captain. What's that movie with Tom Hanks? The one where he's on
Castaway?
Yes.
No. The one with the pirates. The pirate looks at him and goes, I'm in charge here. That was me.
I don't know that movie.
Let's cut this out. I can't think of what it's called. No. Captain Phillip. It's called Captain Phillip.
I actually love that part, so please let's not cut that out. That was amazing.
I probably got the quote wrong.
I want a blooper of that part when Katrina just did that. I am the captain. The video is on you.
Well, I'm in charge here.
We'll do an auto-tune where it's like over and over.
In this video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's probably not even the right word.
Oh, that's hilarious. So, yeah, I feel like just as being a kid and exploring Michigan wasn't necessarily, something that we enjoyed to do. It was really like one of our just only options almost because of that reason of just not having much.
Right. I always loved being outside, like I said, being by the water, but it never really occurred to me that traveling outside of the U.S. or going to all these different places, really was an option until I started the job that I have now at Quicken Loans. Shout out Detroit, Quicken Loans, Rocket Mortgage, call me if you need a referral. But it changed my life because I was able to be fully dependent and save money and think about what priorities I have, which would be traveling. Like, I don't have kids. And so for me, this time in my youth it needs to be put to good use. And for me, that's traveling and getting to see other places and just having fun and enjoying life. Like, cause I do work a lot. So it's like, either I'm working or if I'm not working, I want to be using that time wisely and like making the most of it. So that's kind of where I'm at now with traveling. Like, I could really go anywhere and, well, COVID, but otherwise it's like, it's a whole new world that has opened up because I have the financial like stability to do so. And it's crazy to me because I never really pictured that kind of life for myself growing up. I didn't care about it. I still don't care about it money wise. It's just like a different experience to be able to have the capability if I want it, to go wherever. And do whatever.
Absolutely. You're not just stuck to one place or one state because of, funds and being available. So yeah, absolutely. And I feel like you have gone tons of places. So that's super cool that Quicken Loans has been able to be great to you and treat you so well. So that's a blessing in disguise for sure.
I also feel like, and this is how I was with my Europe trip, is y'all making that trip to Hawaii happen showed you that it's possible. And then you can kind of do it. You can do it again.
Yes. It's like, you think if you've never done it, it's like, it seems like a big undertaking to plan it, to save for it. But like when you actually look at it, it's not that hard. Like you can make other sacrifices and figure out a way to do it if that's what you want to do. And for me, it's a priority. So
same.
And it's good to have people in my corner.
I remember saving for that trip as well. I actually had just moved back to Michigan recently. Well, it was a couple years fresh, but I was just working. I was working 2 jobs at the time, and like Katrina said, we decided that it was something that we wanted to do, and we stuck to it. And it was challenging to save, but luckily where I was living at the time, my rent wasn't super crazy or anything like that. So I was able to save up a pretty good amount of chunk working 2 jobs. So, and I was even able to make that happen with my
And once you have an idea of how
much
much it's going to cost, like once you actually start to try to plan it and you see, like, I mean,
it costs this amount, what you're working with.
Here's the thing, like,
this is what I have to do.
Right. If you have credit, you can use credit to put these things down and then have a plan in place of how you're going to pay it back. Because obviously you don't want to just take out a bunch of credit.
Yeah. Yep.
If you have a plan set aside that either leading up to it, I've saved this much per week or per month, whatever the case may be, or after this, I'm going to put this much towards it each week. Like it's very doable. It really is. If you think about all the stuff that you waste money on a regular basis, at least myself, like
coffee,
my Amazon account. Like for me, it's just Amazon. I literally, any random thing will pop into my head and I instantly buy it because it's so convenient and I don't have to leave my house. So I get Amazon packages sometimes twice a day. I don't know. It's not healthy, but if you think about it, most people are in the same situation. If you cut some of those things out and make a plan, it's really obtainable.
Absolutely. It definitely was the time for me too, because like you said, we just set a plan. This is what we're going to do.
Right. It was like a goal. It wasn't even just like a trip. It was literally like a goal to accomplish for us.
It was a very important birthday for Katrina, and it was a very important birthday for myself, just getting out of a horrible relationship, wanting to do something for myself, wanting to prove something to myself, and wanted to just escape the whole entire world. So it really meant a lot to me too.
And what a better place to do it than Hawaii? I mean,
absolutely.
It's like you're on a different planet of beauty, but you're in the United States. It's really
like the United
an incredible
States.
place. Like I really, really loved it. Of any other place that I've been, it was still like my most special place.
And going back to what you said about credit, what I've kind of started doing is like, I'll purchase everything in advance on the credit card but then try to have it paid off before the trip actually happens.
Right.
And then that way, whatever you spend on the trip, you can put it back on that same credit. And then that's what you have to pay off when you get home. So it's not all at once. It's kind of,
you can get points for different credit cards. Yep. You can earn miles. Like I'm not that credit savvy, but there are a lot of options that you can actually make credit really work for you rather than just as a crutch even.
Is it working for you, basically?
Yeah. And just be smart about it. Obviously, don't go buy a $2,000 plane ticket and then not have the money to pay for it.
And you don't even have to, though. Like, you don't have to. That's the thing is, like, if you look into it, it doesn't cost that much.
I actually have started looking for May. I was looking for Switzerland, and it was only like $700. And I'm like, that's not bad. I have Wanderlust so bad. So bad.
Right, that's like the majority of your trip right there, because you can find lodging for really inexpensive almost everywhere you go.
Yep.
And when you're going to these places that you've never been before, there's so many places outdoors to explore that you don't have to spend a lot of money. Like, you really don't. And that's what I think when we decided to go to Hawaii, I feel like everybody's thing was like, oh, it's so expensive there. Food is so expensive. Well, we weren't focused on eating. Like, that wasn't, I mean, obviously we had to eat, but that wasn't like a part of like, we weren't planning on like dining out at 5-star restaurants every night. Like, that wasn't any reason why we wanted to go there. We wanted to see the natural beauty of Hawaii. And so the majority of our costs just came from a plane ticket. Actually, that was like the main thing. And then the lodging, you split it between however many people are going. And the food cost, I mean, people really said, like, I hear it all the time still, that it's so expensive, but it was really comparable to eating out at restaurants here. It really was not that much different.
Well, and that's why you like plan a couple days to go out to the nice restaurants. So you still get the experience, but then the other times you go to the grocery store and you buy what you would buy at home. So you're not spending any more money on food than you would.
From what I hear in Hawaii, it's actually more expensive to buy groceries. We really didn't buy too many groceries. We might have had like a couple of snacks, and I think the host at the Airbnb like left some nuts and like granola bar type stuff, like if we wanted like a little snack. And there was like a store inside the place where we stayed, so we could grab that kind of stuff. But like if we wanted a quick lunch, they still have like Subway. They have like, you know, a little you can get a sandwich or something for like $10 or less. And when you're busy, you're maybe eating 2 times a day. So it's like you can literally eat, you know, live on maybe $30 a day in food. It's not that big of a deal. Like,
exactly.
It like be honest, if you're out and traveling anywhere in the United States, in your hometown, like you're going to spend the same amount.
For sure. And I think the way that we did it too, the way that our Airbnb was actually set up, it was like they're actually like condos. So we had a full on like kitchen setup. So yeah, if we wanted to, we could have made stuff, but we had to like a little, like, it was like almost like a CVS, but it wasn't like called CVS. And we got like some bananas and some like avocados, like some fruits and stuff that we had, and like the granola bars, that the dude left us, and a couple like instant packs of coffee.
Macadamia nuts, because that's the big thing in Hawaii.
In Hawaii, the macadamia nuts, and there's a Subway right across the street. There was we went to this burger joint that was only like maybe like a mile we walked. It was a really nice walk too. Like we passed through the Hyatt Regency. What was that hotel that we took those pictures in front of? There was like
that might have been the
hotel.
Hilton.
The Hilton, that's what it was. So that was like a nice little walk to that like little burger joint. But the burgers, like $15, but still, that's island pricing. And
that's not even that much more than.
You got to think about it too. Yeah,
honestly, Hawaii, that's Colorado pricing.
Yeah. And
right.
At
least in my experience. I mean, it was it's going on 5 years ago now. So who knows? It may have changed, but to me, I just was not like in any type of shock from the pricing on food. And that's like the main thing I hear, or even like if I try to talk to friends about, like, cause I loved it there so much. I want to go back. I'm always like, anybody want to go? Like just kind of putting the feelers out there, but that's their first thing is, oh, it's so expensive. It's like, I mean,
well, and here's the thing
really
though,
not that bad.
People that don't look into it, they hear other people say it's so expensive. And so they just say it's so expensive. And it's like, have you actually looked though?
Right.
Done any research?
To New York City 5 years before, or maybe 4 years before we went to Hawaii. New York City was hands down 2 times more expensive than Hawaii.
Yeah.
So,
and I bet you didn't spend 9 days there like we did.
Exactly. And we didn't. Yeah. So there was things that we just passed on in New York City because I'm like, I'm not spending $11 on a slice of bread with bean sprouts and a 1/2 of an avocado. Like, I could make that at home for 49 cents. Like, I mean, I'm very frugal when I go places because it's like, I would much rather not eat than spend $11 on that fucking little piddly ass sandwich that's over there. So
Piddly.
maybe that's just me, but yeah, I spent 2 times as more money in New York City than I spent in Hawaii, and that was 4 years prior to us going.
Right, but like so the place where we stayed, it was kind of like they had condos. It was like kind of like a hotel. So there's restaurants like inside there. So the restaurant was like pretty nice. So we might spend $20 on breakfast, but like the food was amazing, and you had a whole humongous plate that would fill you up till dinner time.
I was gonna say you're set, yeah.
So it's worth it. Like if you're gonna pay $11 for a piece of bread with a quarter of an avocado, like also gonna pass on that. But if I'm gonna have a full meal, like an authentic Hawaiian food, it's like different too. Like you're gonna get the same food that you eat here in New York, and some, there's obviously some unique things, but like Hawaiian food was its own experience also.
Yeah, that diner was definitely worth it. They had huge plates. The lady was coming with the
Do you remember that one place that we went to after Diamond Head? It was like this random little shop. Somebody told us to go there, and we had...
It was a market because we were looking for food in this little neighborhood. It was right outside of Diamond Head. It was this little neighborhood where we passed like a school. It was all houses. We had no idea where we were. We didn't feel like putting on the GPS because we were like, let's get lost. Yeah.
I don't even like poke, but I was like, yeah, I'm going to try this. And it was authentic as hell.
Same. I'm the same way. Like, hell no, I'm not eating this. But I'm like, okay, let's try it.
And we got the beef, I think, or something else. We got like...
I think it was pork.
Pork, that's what I meant.
Yep, it was like
a shredded pork type of situation.
Yeah, it was like a braised.
But they have the sticky rice, and it's really good.
It was really good. Yep, and the fresh tuna.
And that was like probably like $10 for a big container of it that literally lasted us like 2 days.
Because we went inside this local little market. It was like literally like a store, almost like a neighborhood store that you would see here, a small neighborhood store. But they had like their like hot station set up where you could build plates. So it's probably part of their business is they also have the market, but then they build plates for people. So it was so local, much needed after hiking Diamond Head too. We were so hungry, about to collapse.
Yeah. So kind of go back just a little bit to like explain how, because I kind of did the planning mostly for it.
Yeah, Katrina
just because, like I said, it was more than just wanting to go to Hawaii. It was literally like a goal of mine. Like my goal at work, we had to put like up on like for New Year's resolutions. I remember we had to put like, what's your New Year's resolution? I was like, I'm going to go to Hawaii for my 30th birthday. So it was like, I have to do this. So I'll be honest, I use Pinterest a lot to like look up places that were free to like visit. Yeah. Nice. So it's like it's perfect because you can type in keywords free, hikes or whatever
Pinterest
it is that you're interested in.
Is amazing for that. I can say.
I would have never thought that, you guys.
So that's literally where I found like pretty much everything. And you can save it. So then you can go back and look at it again. And it's literally like having a notebook full of stuff, but on your phone, and you don't have to actually like write it down or save it. So that's what I used a lot. Like, I don't know why I just instantly decided on Airbnb. Just I kind of felt like the experience of Hawaii would be better enjoyed in a more private place rather than like a hotel room. Even though the place we ended up in it was like a condo, but it kind of was like in a hotel. So it kind of had the best of both worlds. Like I said, there was a shop downstairs, there was a restaurant. So we had a lot of conveniences, but it was a private room that nobody else was coming in. And we had a balcony with a view of the marina. And like once I saw that, and the price was, again, very affordable. I can't remember the rates now, but like split between 2 ways, it was not more than $500 for 9 days. Yeah. Like it was very inexpensive. Or maybe it was like $800 for 9 days.
And that room, like it was a complete hybrid, like because you're right, it was like a condo that you could pay for, that it was a hotel. So it was a complete hybrid. We've never seen anything. I know I've never seen anything like this before. And
it's probably very unique to places that are very touristy, like Hawaii, and like people don't live there full time necessarily, but it's definitely like a good vacation rental.
Like a timeshare almost. Yeah. But let me tell you, the view of this room is what amazing. Got me. Like it was, out to the marina, but the best part was you can open these sliding doors that open all the way. So to me, that was like so gangster. Like we didn't even watch TV. We had a TV in the couch, and then like the bed was like right there. But like the whole room was one room, and then you just open up the complete doors, and it's just all the way, like on like your little lanai, and opens up to the marina, the ocean. You see the surfers, but that to me the best part was just opening up a whole wall. It was a whole entire
fresh
wall
air,
that was just open. So that was to me was the most incredible part. We had like a 11th floor or something like that.
Yeah, we were up pretty high.
Yeah,
that's good for the views though.
Yeah. It's perfect. Yeah. And then, so we rented a car. This is actually kind of a funny story.
Jeep. Wait a minute.
No. So actually, I literally picked out the cheapest car. Like, I didn't care about what type of vehicle we were driving. I picked the smallest, cheapest one that they had. We get there. My bag, I mean, like I said, we were going for 9 days. My bag was literally the same size as my whole entire body. Basically, it was humongous. And the guy pulls out this 2-seater car with no trunk. And I just look at him and I look at my bag and like we just all kind of look at each other like, yeah, no, I mean, are you going to help us tie our bags to the roof? I don't know how the fuck we are supposed to drive in this car. He literally like, we all just looked at each other and he comes back out and he's like, we're going to give you guys a Jeep for the same price. So we got super lucky. We ended up with a Wrangler to drive around in, and it was like it was really sweet. But like the car that they pulled out, I mean, and like I said, we were going to figure it out because we were going the cheap route. We weren't trying to spend a ton of money, but this car was literally the size of the table we're sitting at right now. And not even my bag alone would have fit in it, let alone both of our bags. And we all just looked at each other like,
I'm picturing Jaimie like holding the luggage.
It was so
we were just
silent.
It was like outside of the airport at the Avis place, and we were all just like,
well, this is
and
awkward.
then he just walks away and comes back with like a Jeep, and we're like, thank you, God, because I mean, we're gonna have to be with the one hand out, holding the bags on the roof, don't know where I'm going, driving in basically what feels like a foreign country, because I was the one driving. That was a little stressful, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not a great driver, and driving in a brand new place is a thing on its own, but so yeah, we ended up with a really sweet Jeep, but that's like all you need in Hawaii. Like the island is, and that's what I loved about Oahu is the size of the island and the fact that you can literally drive the whole thing in a day, in a couple of hours.
Literally.
And go from being in like Waikiki, for example, where it's like expensive shops, beautiful beaches, but like tons of people.
Tourists.
Drive to the North Shore and you're like, at the most beautiful beach you've ever seen in your life with, you're seeing mountains everywhere. Like, it's a totally different place, and you literally can drive it in 45 minutes. To me, that is, like, perfect. I don't want to spend a lot of time in the car. I want to be outside enjoying it, and I love convenience. I'm not going to lie. I love convenience, and, like, that's what I loved about Oahu is there was so much – everything you could possibly want or need, you can get it in the same day. Yeah. You can go completely off the grid, or you can be in the mix of everything.
Yeah.
And think about all those people too that live, people that live on North Shore, people that live on Waikiki. It's like a two-lane highway. So if there's like a down tree or, down power lines and there's workers, you have to go the other way, which is all the way around the island. So your 45-minute drive turns into 3 hours and 45 minutes because you have to go the other way.
But think about like us here in Michigan. I'm sure the same in Colorado. Like if we're going to go somewhere that's 3 hours away, like we're going a very significant distance. We could, in Hawaii, you can literally be like, this road is blocked. I need to go all the way around the island in the same amount of time. Like that's just, to me, that's like, I just love that. Like, I love it so much. And I think, like, the local people don't necessarily venture out from their areas that much. But same thing, like, people in Michigan. It's not like we're constantly going 3 hours away or 5 hours away every weekend. But coming in and just getting to go anywhere you want, it's not even like you have to have a place to stay that night. You can easily drive back to wherever you're staying.
Yep.
I loved that.
Yeah, that was really cool. I loved taking that like tour with our tour guide and that like our bus little tour.
That was really fun.
Raul.
Yeah.
I love that tour guide.
We got to snorkel with sea turtles, which was like one of those things that we kind of both had picked something that we like really wanted to do. And that was one thing that like I really wanted to do was like snorkel. And like
it was so awesome.
That does sound amazing.
Enormous. It was so amazing. Like
they were literally enormous. And they tell you like not to touch them, but they come right up to you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? These
like you can't help it. Yeah.
They're huge,
Yep, they
and
come
they're
right up
just
to you,
so
so you can't
cool
help
and
it.
chill.
And I was swimming, and I didn't have like any like special like shoes on or anything, and I felt the shell of one like on the bottom of my foot. I'm like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to,
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a really cool experience.
Like, can you even imagine living there and like
No.
that's what you get to see? I mean,
No.
that's what like I said, I want to
So-
retire one day.
My sister actually lived there for, I think it was only like 6 months. It wasn't long. But when she first got married, her husband was Coast Guard and he was stationed in Hawaii. So their first 6 months of marriage, she lived on the island with him. She did say that the locals were like really rude to her because she was like an outsider. But she said it was beautiful. So I definitely need to hear more stories from her about that.
I think we're kind of introverts in a way, so I don't really care if everybody else there hates me. I could be happy in my own little world
weren't
there.
bothered by it at all.
Yeah.
Everybody, this is kind of funny. Everybody thought we were Australian.
They kept thinking we were from Australia. Yeah.
Because we both had like
see that.
bleached blonde hair at the time, like
Mhm.
your hair's darker now, but we both had the blonde hair.
Wavy,
And I feel like you both have that beach bum look going on.
Yeah.
So I can
a
see
little bit
that.
of a tan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody that we'd like talked to when we were there was like, you guys from Hawaii or you guys from Australia?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really silly.
Too bad you couldn't get the accent down and be like, yeah.
Right.
We probably could have if we
practiced
wanted to
it.
mess with people.
Right now, I'd rather claim to not be from here, but
Honestly, same.
Actually, I'm not gonna lie. Australia is like my number one bucket list place I want to go, but I know it's like it has to be like 3 weeks or like a month almost to go there.
Same.
But that's like my number one, and that has literally been my number one place. And I'm just like, whatever grade they start sending out those packets about study abroad, I remember getting one for Australia, and I was like, this is where I want to go. I want to be there, and like.
Well, do you remember this was the year that we were supposed to go?
I don't want to talk about it. Fucking COVID.
Or
fucking
last year was
COVID.
the year we were supposed to go, and
So for me, that's the hardest thing is being single and trying to find people to travel with you. I know some people like to travel on their own, but I like to travel with people. I feel safer, and I just feel like it's more enjoyable to be able to share the experience with somebody. So that to me is the hardest thing is like trying to recruit people to go anywhere I want at any given time. People with families and blah, blah, blah. It's like, okay.
Yeah. So actually, that's kind of what we're planning to do long term with this is to kind of create a thing that like groups people that want to travel but don't know anyone else so that they have people to travel with. So that's like our long-term goal.
Sign me up.
Once COVID is finally passed, we'll probably start trying to do that.
Yeah. I don't even know what to say about COVID.
Yeah, I'm over that shit. I mean, I get it, science and shit, but
I'm over 2020 in general.
This has really been a really difficult year.
2020 is. But it has been horrible to some people because, you know what I mean?
I mean, I've
Some
had definite
silver
highs
linings.
and lows, but at the end of the day, I'm kind of ready to move on.
Like, let's keep it moving.
I'm so happy that I moved to Colorado at the end of last year because I'm so happy with where I live. If I was in Florida during all this bullshit, I'd be miserable.
Yeah. And it's not like this is not the time to try to move to a new place or
Yeah.
get out. Honestly, I
time.
feel perfectly safe, and I'm not one of those people that really worry that much about it. I know I'm not saying it's not true. I'm not a worrier in that way. So I'm prepared to travel. If a place is open and willing to have me, I feel comfortable. I don't feel like scared to go places at all, but it's harder to get people. And it's also kind of hard to know what's open, what's not open.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's taking more of a risk, So we're going to do a birthday trip in the next 2 weeks, and we're going to be more local because it was something we could plan last minute, not knowing what was going to be happening until the last minute, basically. So that's kind of what I feel like 2020 has been, is you just have to kind of
roll with it,
roll with it. Yeah, you can't plan ahead. You can't plan any big trip. And that sucks because looking forward to a trip is
the best feeling
pretty
ever.
much the only thing to get you through the work week every
For
week,
sure.
So
we wanted to go up north for my birthday, but it falls on Labor Day. So everything that we're trying to find up north is becoming more booked and booked and booked. So when Katrina texts me about that, I'm like, yes, please.
We're going to Hocking Hills, Ohio. Yeah, Hocking Hills, Ohio. I kept seeing this pop up on my Facebook, So did you, that group that I'm in on Facebook, Girls Love Travel.
I'm in that group.
Okay, yeah, me too. And I've been in it for a little while, and I just noticed I started seeing you comment on a lot.
Jenny added me on it recently.
So my friend added me on it probably like a year or two ago. And it is super like inspirational. You see all these people going on these trips, and like, again, it just makes it when you would put yourself in that situation where you see other people doing it and figuring out how they do it. And that's what's cool about that group too, is you can literally post like, I want to go here. Please tell me, where you stayed, how, and people will give you, and that's like the best way. Like besides Pinterest, because Pinterest is basically the same thing, but they just post it. Like this group, you can get anybody to explain anything to you. And it's like, but I kept seeing this Hawking Hills place, and it's in Ohio. It's probably like 4 hours. I know people personally that have been there, and it looks awesome. And it's cheap. You don't have to spend anything. Like we have to go to Walmart and get some groceries, but like, it's going to be, I think, a really cool experience. So I'm excited for that we were able to throw something together at the last minute to not have to spend our birthdays at home. Like to me, that's like my worst nightmare is to spend my birthday at home. I want to be.
And I always love going on a birthday trip with you, because that's like our thing.
Yeah.
So it doesn't feel like a birthday when
it really doesn't.
No.
The last couple of years, last year I went to Mexico. The year before that, I think I was supposed to go to Mexico again. And there was like a really bad hurricane.
Oh, yep, I remember that.
And so maybe it was 3 years ago, I don't know. But basically we had to, like the day before we were supposed to be leaving, there was Hurricane Maria, and we were flying into Florida and then out of Florida to Mexico, and that airport was closed down. So I had to spend about 2 hours on hold with the resort where we were staying to get it rebooked. But we did, and it was fine. So I still considered the birthday trip my birthday trip, but it was in November. But even like being at home that day, I had the day off. I got to spend it with my niece, and like that was cool. But for me, it just doesn't feel like traveling is what like fulfills me and makes me feel like really like not even like I just feel accomplished. I feel like proud and like really happy when I get to travel.
And I feel like it's because we learn stuff. Like when we go places, like we learn things. We take it in. We don't just travel for the Instagram pictures. We don't just travel for, the Facebook, this and that.
Well, it's for the memories. Like I think we're lucky to have Instagram and Facebook to remember these places, to be honest.
Right.
I'm not going to, I'll do it for the gram, but I love that because it is a memory. I can look at it, back at it, and be like, wow, like this was an experience that I got to have. Like
what I'm saying, we actually take it in.
Yeah.
So we go to that place and we immerse ourselves into local.
Yeah.
We immerse ourselves into being there. We're there. Yes, we're taking our pictures. Yes, we're doing this and that. But when we're there, we're fully there. So we're doing local stuff. We're talking to local people. We're learning about that place. So being able to take those memories home of an actual place.
Yeah.
That, hey, we talked to this person, and you know what I mean? When we were in New Mexico, me and Tiffany went to a local library, and I sat down because I saw this man. He was selling these jewels, like these stones that he crafted himself. And I sat down. We're in a bookstore, so we're looking around, I have a couple books that I'm going to get, and I see this old man. I'm sitting there talking to him. I sat there and talked to him for an hour.
Yeah.
And he's telling me all about these different stones and, about where he got them and about his website and how he crafts and how he got into it. And it's just like, that is the shit I love, is like...
It's irreplaceable. There's nothing that can...
Exactly. Just talking to a local...
You can't take that away from someone. It's not like a gift that you will forget about in a month from now. It's something that you're always going to have that experience. And like, so that's why it's so important for me, I feel like, to travel for my birthday or to like have these experiences, is because there's nothing else that can even come close to replacing that.
Yeah. The best, that's the best of me, is just...
Like I said, I have an Amazon shopping habit, but that shit... I'll end up donating in a year from now and buying new stuff. It doesn't matter. I want to go somewhere and have a memory and see something that I never had seen before. Like, that's what's important.
Well, and I think also, like, the big problem in America right now is racism. And I think if people just get out of their bubble and travel and see other cultures and how they live and see that America is such a tiny part of this world, that it would help. Like, it would open up their eyes. Like, we are the newest ones. We have not been here that long. All these other countries have been thriving for thousands of years. Like, I think it would help open up. Yeah. Not everyone. People are stubborn and stuck in their ways, but I think it would help a lot of people take a step back and broaden their horizons a little.
Yeah. Even just joining those groups on Facebook and seeing other people doing it can have that same effect, I think, for people. Because
oh yeah, I looked
traveling's
through all
not
that.
always obtainable for everybody at every situation. For sure, it makes a difference in how you perceive people, and like you said, like America, we ain't shit. Like these other places have been doing this forever.
For real.
Yeah,
we are definitely self-centered, and I can't sit here and say that I'm not the same way, but it's a good opportunity to be able to see another side of it.
There's just such a huge world out there, and a lot of Americans don't realize that, I think. Yeah, so getting back to like your Hawaii trip, like what all did you do while you were there? Like give us like a run through of like the favorite things, what you loved.
Yeah, so I feel like, okay, so one thing is that there is a huge time difference there, 6 hours. So I remember getting to the airport, getting the rental car, like I just talked about. By the time we got back to the hotel and like put our stuff up there, we were like, let's go look at the beach. Like we have to get down to the beach like right now. So it was probably going on like maybe 8 or 9 o'clock there, which means that it was 6 hours later. Like we'd already been up for basically 20 hours at this point. So I think we kind of like, we were right between Alamona Beach and Waikiki where we were staying. So we kind of just like walked down like Waikiki, which is where like all the restaurants or stuff were, just kind of getting like scoping it out, And then went to bed, whatever. Because we traveled on Jaimie's actual birthday, the 7th was like the day we got there. So I know we went to Diamond Head, and like a lot of the stuff, like, okay, so we're also partiers in this family, but that was not like a thing that we were focused on there at all. Like we would go to bed relatively early and get up early because you want to get a jump start on those things. So we did Diamond Head, which they really recommend getting there like early to get parking, and also because it gets really hot by midday.
We got there like almost right when it opened.
Yeah.
It's like you have to drive for a minute to get there too.
Yeah, you drive into the park to get to like where the opening is or whatever. I will say that I was definitely not in any type of shape to be doing that. And it's not even, and like you see kids, I don't know if you've ever seen the meme where it's like the guy hiking with the stick and like all the gear and then the kid with the Barbie with like no clothes on next to you. Like that's kind of how it was. Like there was every different range of like person out there, I guess, that skill level. Yeah. Like, but it was hard. It was difficult. Like, so I don't know how these kids do it, but
there was a couple really narrow places that made me extremely uncomfortable.
Or like just like
I would say,
like stairs that you had to like go up. So I'd be like, okay, I need to take a little break. I'm winded from this flight of stairs. So we'd like wait, whatever. We weren't in any type of rush, although it was getting hot. Like that was the main thing is it was starting to get really hot by midday. So, but the cool thing is like, I mean, when you get up to like the opening, it really is like, I mean, for me, I had never been to any place like that. That was like the first thing that like one of the first things we did when we got there was Diamond Head. And it was so beautiful. Like just the most beautiful ocean that you've ever seen in your life.
Blues.
Out like as far as your eye can see up here on this volcano, which is basically like being in a mountain. And it was really incredible. And again, that's another thing where you feel like really accomplished. Like I think that's probably got to be one of the main things why people go hiking is like the accomplishment. So we did that. What else did we do? So I know, okay, so then we went to, we had like Alamona Beach, which was by where we were staying. We did that one day.
It's like a whole big park too.
Yeah, so it's like a big park.
You could, barbecue, there's actual beach, there's like grass set out. So it's a huge, big like spot that you have plenty of space to enjoy.
But like we're beach bums and like we went there to be beach bums. We weren't trying to be like,
we weren't doing none of that. We were laying out and we were on the beach.
We wanted to lay out. We wanted to go. Exactly. That's what we did every day. Like my favorite thing, I talk about this all the time too, would be, we would just go out at the beach by our hotel. Like this would be after a whole day of activity, but we'd go out to the beach by our hotel in the evening, like
The
early
beach was
evening.
just right. You just walk right down
Yeah.
and it's there.
And you would just swim out, like you swim against the waves. And it's like the best workout of your life. You're fighting with your whole body, swimming out against these waves. And then you turn around and just like let the waves like fly you into the shore. And it was literally like, I can't explain how exhilarating. I think about that all the time because it was like the most free that I've ever felt in my life. And I am obsessed with that feeling.
It's like dusk too. It's like
It
sun
was
is coming
incredible.
down.
Like
Yeah.
I loved it. And then we just go back up and sit on our balcony and we're just so tired. We're just sitting there like that's like, it's time for bed. Like we're going to eat something and go to sleep and get up and do the same thing tomorrow. So we did Diamond Head, did Alamona Beach. We got okay. What day did we get really burnt? Did we go to the North Shore first? So we went to the North Shore, which we went to the Dole Plantation, which is awesome. If you ever are on Hawaii, on Oahu, the Dole Plantation is literally where Dole pineapples are produced.
It's
and
so cool. There's like a whole entire train.
yeah, it's kind of like a museum type place on this plantation.
It's like souvenirs and like food and like stuff and stuff.
You can get Dole Whip that you can pretty much only get like in Hawaii and like in Disney.
That's amazing. Apparently. Yeah, Disney. Yeah. It's a huge thing.
Yeah. So we did that. We went out to the North Shore to this beach, which if I could think of the name of it right now, I wish I could. It was
Jaimie Bay.
Jaimie Bay. It was literally the most beautiful thing in my life that I'd ever seen until that point.
And then same thing for me. That is the most beautiful beach I've ever seen.
It was
to this day in my life.
So beautiful. It was, and we went there. It must have been the most perfect day. It was the beach. So there was like a big rock that people were like
jump off
cliff jumping or whatever you call it. It wasn't really.
I've always wanted to do that. Yeah.
We're not about that life. We watched them, but
we watched them.
But the waves were like big, but they were like manageable, and it was the perfect sunny day. We ended up getting so sunburnt, but like it was worth it. It was 100% worth it. But we got really, because we spent the entire day. We went early in the morning. We went to that one cafe.
The cafe though was fire.
I had like a guava fruit something, like it was really cool. There was chickens outside, like. So we went to this cafe, went to a couple little shops, went to this beach. It was the most beautiful beach in the world.
Literally.
And which beach is that?
It's
Jaimie Bay.
Okay. It was in Jaimie Bay in the North Shore.
It was in the North Shore. So the next day we were completely sunburnt.
I mean, Jenny, to the point our skin was purple. Like, I'm not even joking.
We had a tan line on our ass for literally 6 months.
I'm not even joking you. It was full on the next spring.
Yeah.
And I still had my tan through winter. But when I tell you purple, you take a purple colored pencil and put that on a piece of paper and color it as dark as you could, purple. That's what my armpit looked like.
Yeah.
My armpit.
Your armpit?
I mean, like
because you know, like those random little spaces that you forget about when you're doing sunscreen. Yeah.
Right. These weird little spots.
It got us.
Purple. Like our skin was red.
That sounds
red.
Painful.
But the really, really burnt bad spots that you're right that I missed, this tiny little teensy spot by my armpit, bitch. It was perfect.
So that next day we went to the Honolulu Zoo because we needed to like be in the shade. Like we couldn't do a beach day that day.
We had to be out in the sun at all.
We had to be somewhere not like on the beach. So we did that. There was some type of aquarium there. Remember we held those little, what were they? The sea urchins.
The sea urchins. Yep.
Yeah.
So we stingrays.
Yep. So we did like some kind of like, touristy type stuff that day.
That's always good though. Get some touristy stuff in. Yeah.
But that's basically what we did every day. We would pick. So we went to. We did a different hike, which I don't remember what that was either. There was waterfalls.
That was. Where did we drive? We drove somewhere for that one.
I know. I want to hear more about these hikes. That's like.
Yeah. We didn't do too many because we were very novice, and I said, we're beach bums. Like that's like what we like to do. So every day basically was either we were going to a beach or that on my actual birthday, which is September 12th, coming up, Virgo season. That was the day we did this bus tour, which was really the only, because we tried to do swimming with sharks or diving with sharks, but the day that we went to try to do that, it was too choppy and they weren't taking groups out.
Oh,
so like we each picked kind of like one thing we were gonna, like in a tour type thing we were going to do. That was going to be Jaimie's. We didn't end up getting to do it because of the weather. But the day of my birthday, we took a bus tour, which went all around the whole island. It stopped at like these fruit stands.
So cool.
We went to the Dole plantation again that day. We went to these like this macadamia nut farm.
That was really cool.
Oh,
We
yum.
went to like these food stands.
Yeah.
And then we ended up swimming, like snorkeling with sea turtles on the North Shore.
Yep.
And it was kind of cloudy that day. So, you know, the tour guide, the tour guide was kind of like warning us, like, I don't know, like if we're going to get to see things, like we can't guarantee it, obviously, like they don't have any control over it. But so we finally get to this beach and it was just like this, like not a very big beach and there weren't that many people and it was cloudy and overcast.
Sprinkling a little bit of rain.
We get our gear on and there were so many sea turtles. It was the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life. Like, I've seen tropical fish and like it's cool, but like these sea turtles were massive and you just would never think like that you could be so close to these majestic freaking animals. Like,
Jenny, I'm over here can barely figure out how to use my snorkel. Struggling.
That's how I was scalloping.
Girl, this girl, Katrina is, I mean, she's 30, 40 feet back, 30, 40 feet deep with our tour guide, and he's giving her private tours of these.
It was helpful because he was showing us, like, he's like, come over here, you know, and like, so they always say, like, you can't touch them. And he was like, he's like, we're going to dive down. And like, this one was just like hanging out around us. He's like, just, you know, touch it, like gently, like obviously. And it was like, I got to touch a sea turtle. It was just very, it was,
a shell.
Yeah, it was very cool. Like, to me, that like made the whole trip. I want to be in
cussing myself out. I'm like, I can't.
I want to be in the wild. I love animals.
And she's out there swimming with. I'm getting.
You were hungover. You threw up behind the bus.
Oh, I was so hungover. That was the night I went out hanging out with myself on the city by myself, and I was messed up. Jenny. At least I saw one of these turtles because I was about to be so upset. Katrina comes back talking about she saw all these ones and she this and she that. I was about to be so upset. But thankfully I saw one too because
when we so we had like 9 days and it was a pretty long trip to the point where we had done most of the things that we wanted to do. Like the big things that we had on our like list, whatever, Pinterest list that I told you about. So the last couple of days, and the weather started out really good, and as the week went on, it kind of got, like, September is kind of their rainier season, so we had perfect weather for, like, the first 6 days, and then probably the last 3 days, it was, like, on and off. And
I remember we went to the mall and saw that movie.
Right, so we ended up, like, the very last day, it was, like, raining all day. We were also kind of a little beached out, like, we had been in the sun for a week and a half straight. Like, we kind of wanted to be indoors, but they had like awesome malls. We went and saw a movie, and it, again, those things, like the pricing is the same. It wasn't any more expensive than going to see a movie here, really. Like, you're going to still, like, we didn't need popcorn. So like we get a movie ticket and a drink and we split it. And like, that's it. Like, you know, it's the same as if you're going out here.
What movie did you see?
What did we see? Oh, we saw that one about
it's called Snowden, I think.
Yeah, the guy about the WikiLeaks.
Yeah, the WikiLeaks guy.
I don't even know that one.
Oh,
it was actually a good movie.
It was actually a really good one. Who was it? Joseph Gordon-Levitt?
I don't know.
Joseph
the guy who
I think it is.
It was a good movie, but
it's actually based off of like a real story of the.
Actually, I think I do know what you're talking about.
Yeah. But we got to explore like downtown Honolulu. We went out one night there. We went to Waikiki. We ate at like what is that place called? The Pie. Remember that big chocolate pie place? My friend had told me about it. That's why we went there. It was like a restaurant that was like on the water. I can't think of what it's called.
Oh.
It's like right on the tip of my tongue.
It starts with a B. I do remember.
Yeah. But basically to say that
we will look it up.
Yeah. In a 9-day trip, like I think you can do everything in 7 days. I think we could have done it all in 7 days, but I do think you need like a full week there just because number one, you're traveling so far.
Yeah.
And there is
Make it
so
worth
much to
it.
see. Like
And it was
I'm
nice
sure there was
having the
more
extra
stuff that
time, too,
for
to
sure.
go slow. We didn't have to rush anything.
Exactly. We didn't have to
coulda
cram
had
stuff
an
in.
extra day on the beach and it wasn't going to affect anything. So
We didn't miss out on anything.
I like
like
going places and not having to rush. That's
Well,
my
and
perfect-
also, like you said, the weather got kind of icky at the end. Anywhere tropical like that, you don't know what the weather's going to do. So it's nice to have extra days just in case it does storm for 2. You're not stressed out because it's like, well, we still have how many days. So
it honestly ended up being like the most perfect trip. We got to do everything we could have wanted to do. And I mean, Hawaii was just an amazing place. It was honestly like
the food
I would
trucks
go
of
back.
North Shore, the shrimp. Oh my God, the freshest shrimp.
I loved the rice. Like honestly, like the sticky rice that they have with everything.
All the little black crabs that we saw at Alabama Park, washing on the rocks. Yeah, it was. I'll never
all those
forget
guys that like set up fishing and like.
Remember that one dude we saw? Joe was just sleeping there. Like we parked, he's still sleeping there.
Not gonna lie, if you're gonna be homeless, like Hawaii would be the place to do
that's
it.
the place to be homeless in Hawaii for sure.
I loved it.
Yeah, I actually have a friend that I still have on Snapchat to this day from Hawaii, so that's kind of cool.
That is cool.
Yeah.
Oh, we also went to Pearl Harbor.
Oh,
I was going to ask about that.
Fun.
Yeah, we went to Pearl Harbor. We went there on September 11th because we were there during that time.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
So it did. It was like very like, it was really cool.
We really felt
connected to like everything that's happened in this country. It was really a good experience, and I'm happy that we got to go there at that time.
Open air museum.
Yeah,
and then they actually have like you can look at some of like the bombs that they have, like some of the underground tankers that they sent, and then you can also we took like a little ride to where the USS Arizona sank.
Yes,
where the USS Arizona sank. So
that's on my bucket list.
They have like a little museum over top of where it sank at.
Yeah.
And they let you off and you can still see the gas that's still flowing underneath there to this day. We saw tons of little fish.
And you can see it, like it's clear.
Yes, we could see like the parts of the boat. Like it's like I forget what part of the boat, if it's the front or the back, but whatever it is, they have this long, piece.
Yeah, where you can go like kind of look over it.
Yep. So they have a see-through floor. Part of the floor is see-through, and they have like an outside piece where you can go like see on the sides and stuff. But yeah,
that's on my bucket list for sure.
That was absolutely amazing, especially going on 9/11 too. Like that was so amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
I know, and that's what I'm thinking. I'm like, I know there's more stuff that we did. I'm just, it was almost 5 years ago, but it was just so like driving like from Waikiki where we were to the North Shore. It was, I can't even explain how beautiful it is. It's like, it's hard to explain because think about everything beautiful in every part of the country of the United States, every different like landscape that you can think of. You literally saw all of that basically.
You really do, because
driving through Hawaii, there's mountains, there's oceans, there's like fields,
forests.
there's it's so like it to me. There's just nothing like it. It's just
the best of everything.
Yeah, it's honestly the best fucking place ever.
I feel like we learned a lot about Hawaii today, so thank you for all this information.
Yeah, thanks again for having me. This is kind of a weird dream come true. As much as I listen to podcasts, to actually be recording one feels surreal. And I'm so proud of my cousin. And of course you, Jenny. I just met you, but.
Aw.
Thanks, Gaza.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've never been to Hawaii, and it wasn't on my list originally, but like, it
should be on everyone's list.
Let's just say it moved up to top 10 now. So
honestly, it's on my it's on my want to go back list. I haven't even been to that many places and I want to go back.
Yep.
Or visit every island. Like I can't describe to you. It's amazing. It's really amazing. Definitely go there.
Well, as much as I love hiking, I don't know why it wasn't on my list sooner, because hearing this, I'm just like, damn, they've got a lot of good hiking.
We're very novice. We don't even know that much about hiking, and I'm sure there's a lot more hikes that are like awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We did some really basic touristy ones just because we didn't really know, and we just heard from different people that we were actually talking to. And Pinterest, Jaimie we knew about because that was like the old volcano, but We'll have to find out what that other one was that we hiked to the waterfall. But there's a lot of people there. Seen some bamboo, but
Oh, we got to have the shaved ice. That was like a big thing that I wanted to try while we were there.
at the
Because
store after.
yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Definitely recommend talking to other people before you go. You know, looking on websites. Join those travel groups. Use Pinterest, whatever. You can literally find out so many things, and it gives you an idea of where to start from. You don't even have to have like I like to read like this 7-day itinerary because it gives you an idea. But like Oahu with the size, you don't have to have a strict itinerary. You can have an idea of the places you want to go, and you can literally do them as you see fit. You wake up, what do I want to do today? Like it's a magical place.
Yeah.
For
6
sure.
hours time difference too. That was fun.
For our birthdays, right? We're waking up
birthdays.
and it's already noon at home. It's 6 a.m. there, and you got all these birthday wishes already because it's already noon. You're
It's
like,
essentially, I
covered
had
in
a
love.
double birthday because my birthday was already over.
Yeah.
By the time we got to Hawaii,
when we left,
because it was Hawaii, I got a double
6
birthday.
extra hours of birthday.
So I technically, got a bonus birthday.
That's the way to do it. Yeah, that's
we
awesome.
arrived on it. So.
But yeah, thank you very much for coming on. This was fun. It was nice to meet you officially.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Can't wait to go on another awesome trip and then come back and talk about it.
Okay.
We'll have you back on for sure.
Come back on for sure.
Yeah, thanks for having me, you guys.
Thanks for coming on.
Absolutely. Yeah. And just remember to find us on Insta, Jet Set Hers Pod. Email is jetsethers@gmail.com. Website is jetsethers.com. Tell your friends, tell your family. We're on Apple, Spotify, Google, and Podbean.
Give a like, give a review, give a listen. Tell your peeps. But until next time, y'all. Thanks for coming on, cuz.
Thank you.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.